Sweden is a beautiful country. It's got lakes. Yeah. And a while back, my sister had the idea of going on a road trip or a journey through Sweden up to our family home in Jämtland. I consider it up north, but it's really in the middle of Sweden. But I'm from Stockholm, so I consider everything north of Solna to be, you know, the north of Sweden. Neither me nor my sister have a driver's license though, so we sadly had to invite along Ben.
Go fuck yourself.
The Frenchman to drive the car. So this little series will show our adventures along the way and hopefully give you a sort of glimpse into the countryside of Sweden, which I haven't really shown off on this channel yet. There will be action, romance, and of course occasional nudity, but only for those of you who follow me on Patreon and get access to the R-rated bits, you know. So please sit back, grab a drink, and enjoy enjoy marvelous Sweden. Did I write this? Jesus. Since we were children, me and my sister have heard tales of an enormous mythical Dalahäst roaming the wilderness somewhere in the middle of the country. Now, all three of us being avid Dalahäst fans, we decided that this would surely be the perfect goal for the first leg of our journey. Getting there, we of course had to get out of Stockholm first. We did so in style, listening to great fucking music. Here, by the way, is my dear sister. She is fierce in all things kittens and in defending me against any ruthless women who want to date me. And this is Ben, who, as we all know, was born smooth.
That's okay. Born smooth.
Yeah. Even though Stockholm is the largest city by far in Sweden, it is still fucking tiny compared to most major cities of the world, so getting out on the countryside didn't take very long. This kind of nature is very typical for sort of the middle and southern parts of Sweden. As we get further up north, you'll notice a lot more pine trees, for instance. Talking about pine trees, we're off to an exciting start already. Prepare yourselves to see lots of footage like this in the following videos. At this point, Ben had started to get a bit grumpy. He can only go so many hours without a baguette, you know. Luckily, we reached our first stop, Sala, in just a few hours. Sala is a very typical Swedish little town. Everyone seems to know one another and the nightlife is fantastic. You've got all of 2 pubs to choose from, you know. This is the main square of Sala, Sala Torg, or I should say the square, really. The architecture is very cute and unimposing, which is nice. A slightly unnerving aspect of Sala is the county flag, which looks like the communist hammer and sickle, but with an added crescent moon above. Sort of a mix between communism and Islam. Pretty interesting, but perhaps a bit unexpected for a random small town in Sweden. One interesting thing about Sala is the silver mine, which has made the town somewhat famous in Sweden. Sala silvergruva. So everything here has a silver theme because of the fucking Sala silvergruva. While we could barely contain ourselves at the thought of visiting an old mine, we didn't have time to visit it, but instead picked up some strawberries.
Strawberries are good for you. They're full of vitamins.
Yeah. Or at least Ben tried to.
But did it go well? Or did she just give you the strawberries out of pity? It went pretty well. It just took me a while to swish.
You got a receipt or anything, did you?
Yeah? Oh yes, smell it. You can't smell with your camera, can you?
Yeah, look at that. Nice. It smells nice, yeah.
You want to smell?
Oh,
She's smelling my strawberries.
Finally, we decided to hit the road again. Oh, you've got a friend?
He's really green.
He's really green!
Ja, men så jävla grön.
Oh my goodness. Det var jävla söt.
Oj, han så sket sig.
Since there's nothing else to do in Mora, katten.
We're going to Systembolaget.
We're going to... Oh shit, Mora, no, Sala. Fuck.
Sala,
there's nothing else to do in Sala, so we're already leaving. And this is our car.
And our driver.
And the driver.
My name is Peter. I come from Belarus.
Of course, it's a Volvo. Clearly, there is no other way to go if you're doing a road trip in Sweden. We had heard that the elusive Dalahäst was located just outside of Avesta, so we asked our Frenchman to take us in that direction. It didn't take long before the conversation deteriorated.
Oh, yes. Did you just fart or something? Oh, yes. Sounds of me when I fart.
While the smell of a Frenchman's anal gases inside a tiny, hot car with a pretty bad AC is difficult to ignore, the beauty of Swedish nature managed to put me in a bit of a trance. The red houses with white trims made me feel the nationalist inside me swell and my blue and yellow underwear being stretched to their limits. I was dangerously close to bursting out singing the Swedish national anthem, when thankfully though, I was yet again yanked back to reality by Ben.
8 minutes to Burger King.
Burger King wasn't our destination though. Lina had heard of a nice country home just outside of Avesta, now serving as a restaurant and museum of the world famous Swedish poet Erik Axel Carlfeldt, who apparently used to live there some 6,000 years ago. Despite us never actually having heard of the fucking guy, we pretended to be massive fans and arrived just in time for lunch. Carlfeldt's garden was, just as the travel brochures mentioned, picturesque as fuck. My very Swedish sister looked like she fit in this setting perfectly. Ben seemed impressed as well.
Fuck yes.
This very traditional looking Swedish country home was a lovely place to have lunch. Thankfully there was nothing traditional about the food whatsoever. A very international mix of ingredients, yes. Why did I write this? Anyway, we didn't have to settle for blodpudding and rotfrukter, you know. Of course me and Ben felt we had to explore the inside of the preserved home of Erik Axel Carlfeldt.
On a scale of 0 to safe, 0. I'm going in.
That's probably what Mr. Carlfeldt said every time he walked in here as well. Apparently this is a very good look at what a country house in Sweden used to look like back in the 19th century.
Probably didn't have a view over the bins over there. It's a bit of a challenge to the inspiration.
They didn't challenge Ben's inspiration though.
Bin, glorious bin.
So
How you eat all my waste with your green, dirty mouth.
Eric might have been talented being a winner of the fucking Nobel Prize in Literature, but he can't have been very tall. So he's not very, it's not built for people like us, Ben.
No.
We obviously share the same immense talent with words, though.
Plug your anal plug in my plug.
Yeah.
The creepiest bed ever.
And this is where you're buried later on.
Exactly.
This is when you die.
Expect baby's corpse.
Seeing this loft where Mr. Carlfeldt used to strangle his kittens, the creepiness became a bit too much to handle, and we had a Dalahäst to hunt down. It was just a quick hop over the Dalälven, or the Dala River, I guess. And like a scene straight out of Jurassic Park, there it was. Naturally, we lost our shit. It's like in Jurassic Park. What is the point of this absolutely massive concrete horse, you might ask? Well, Dalahästar, or Dale-Carlian horses, are handcrafted wooden horses. This one is made of concrete, but it's a bit too big to be handcrafted, I guess. Made in the county of Dalarna in Sweden. They're often painted in a very specific, recognizable way, and they don't really resemble actual horses very much.
Oh, yeah, of course. The ass angle.
They become a typical Swedish cultural object. You can buy them in all the, tourist shops and everything. After the general public realized that you can, with enough grit and dedication, use them as sex toys. This one is perhaps a bit too big for that purpose, but it's just big enough to make for great photos and the thumbnail of this video. So there we are, we made it. It all is glory and joy in the mind of a gangster. In the next episode of Journey Through Sweden, we will continue exploring the beautiful countryside, go for a swim in the prettiest fucking lake I've ever seen, and walk in the footsteps of my ancestors, the very kings and queens of Sweden. So do leave a like, subscribe, and join me for the next episode of Journey Through Sweden. So until then, take care of yourselves and goodbye.